In case you missed it, reports stated, Melly's legal team has officially filed their final motion requesting his release on bond ahead of his September trial. This time, they're fully confident he'll be granted release. Shortly after, Melly's mother shared an update regarding his potential release.
We just still praying. I know I said I would I'll keep everybody updated with what's happening. I know right now we're waiting. So basically the judge is going to do, I guess, a written order. So we're just waiting, and that order can come any minute, or it could come tomorrow. I don't know. So we're just waiting. We're just waiting. So everybody just keep praying, keep having faith. Oh, Tessa, I've been crying too. It's been a long time coming.
As Melly's lawyer submitted his new bond release proposal, it's up to the court to decide if it's strong enough to grant his freedom. The legal team offered an unspecified bond to be covered by his label, 300 Entertainment. They also promised that if released, Melly would be placed on house arrest with an ankle monitor and would hire 24/7 private security for supervision. The offer was so compelling that one rapper posted that, "Boy, Melly's coming home. I feel it." But what could really sway the decision is the physical evidence included in the package, such as an interview with Melly's mother detailing the inhumane treatment he's allegedly endured in jail, which could constitute a violation of his rights.
You saw Melly's statement, just saying how he's been hurt, how he's scared for his life. As a mother, how did that make you feel?
It's heartbreaking. It made me feel completely helpless. Broward Sheriff's Office definitely needs to be investigated. I mean, they are making up their own rules. We've tried to go to court about this situation. The judge really doesn't have any jurisdiction when it comes to the jail, because we actually had a hearing about the mistreatment of him, and the jail they make their own rules. And I don't think that's fair, because I know that they need to answer to someone too.
They also presented evidence from the original trial evidence. The new judge hadn't seen named at disproving the federal claim that Melly committed the crime inside the Jeep. According to his legal team, GPS data from AT&T tracked Melly's cell phone in real time, showing he was actually sprinting down the street and hiding in a bush at the time, with the phone still in his jeans pocket.
That would be the part of him saying that someone just shut the car up and was trying to shoot him. So I asked him if he was okay, where he was, and he's like, "There's a car coming behind him, and I'm hiding." He was like, "There's some, there's some, I think they're still out here or something." So I'm like, "Are you okay?" He's like, "I'm okay." I said, "Well, where are Zach and Juby?" And he said, "I don't know if they're in the car. I think they're..."
To support the claim that it was a legitimate drive-by shooting, the original trial confirmed that no firearm was ever recovered. This absence of a weapon strengthens the argument, suggesting the shooter fled the scene with the gun, further backing the drive-by theory.
So the first thing I didn't have a firearm, so I can't know which I'm going to use in order to replicate any of my tests. So I can't make tests for this duration because I don't know what I'm using.
Okay.
With the release package looking strong, prosecutors grew concerned it might actually be approved. That's when they made a questionable move. As reported, a no communication order has been filed in the YNW Melly trial. This order prohibits all contact between Melly and Bortland, no conversations, no shared legal counsel, complete silence. Prosecutors are reportedly using this tactic to pressure Bortland into testifying against Melly. By trying both of them together in the upcoming trial, they'll be seated side by side as evidence is presented linking them to the crime.
Issue here, and you can try them together. It is to the benefit of the state to try them together, just more efficient. If you don't have to do things again and again, do it all at once, and also get a better chance of having them incriminate each other during the trial. It benefits the defense to sever it. That way they can point the finger at each other and get away with it. So this is what's going on. But I don't think it should be automatically severed because the state is seeking a penalty for Melly, because it's only the penalty phase of the trial that would be different, not the guilt phase. The guilt phase is the same. They're both capital crimes. We're seeking the penalty on one, not the other. But that goes into the second part of the trial, the penalty phase, only if Melly is found guilty.
This was the key mistake prosecutors made in the first trial, not having both defendants seated beside each other. If Bortland knows he didn't commit the crime, it's unlikely he'll be able to sit silently and accept a life sentence without. That's exactly what the prosecution is banking on. Their strategy seems clear. In the original trial, YNW Melly's legal team attempted to shift the blame onto Bortland. Now, by putting them on trial together, prosecutors are hoping the pressure will push Bortland to flip and point the finger back at Melly.
Those were his lives. Cortland Henry shows up at Memorial Hospital, Miramar. You don't see him sitting there, but where you will see him sitting is in the driver's seat of the car, two bodies, car, riddled with bullets. When he shows up with a change of clothing, change of shirt, powder residue on his hands, evidencing that he had discharged his firearm. And he lies. He lies about where the incident occurred. He lies about how it occurred. And he lies about not having the phone. I think it was Miss Bradley herself who said, everybody has a phone in the pocket, not Cortland Henry.
Melly's own lawyer exposed that it was Bortland who had been misleading the feds, pointing out that Melly tested positive for gunpowder residue. To strengthen their claim, the defense even brought in a forensic scientist who had worked directly on the case to provide detailed testimony confirming that the residue was found on Bortland, not Melly.
So the right hand of Cortland Henry contained 0 particles characteristic of pot residue and two component particles, and the left hand contained 1 particle characteristic of pot residue and 1 two-component particle.
And can you explain to us what that means?
Basically, overall, there was pot residue present on the hands.
Here's what you might not know. Bortland didn't take kindly to being thrown under the bus. After Melly's mistrial was granted, reports surfaced that Bortland posted a cryptic tweet the same day. It read, "Mind games don't work on people like me," followed by a handshake emoji hinting he might be ready to make a deal. That's where things take a dark turn. If Bortland ends up sitting beside Melly in the next trial, prosecutors could introduce his original police interrogation, where he was caught lying to cover for his best friend Melly on the night of the crime.
Okay, tell me what happened. And I was playing music, getting off the exit. I was already getting sleepy, almost home. You know what I'm saying? And like, it's out of nowhere, like, sure. You know what I'm saying? So then I ducked down, you know what I'm saying, in the car. And I almost cut.
Let me back you up a few minutes. Where were you coming from?
From Fort Lauderdale.
Fort Lauderdale studio. Which way did you take?
To Austin, 595
to 75. Then you took 75 south?
It quickly became clear to investigators that YNW Bortland's story wasn't holding water. This was the night of the incident, and Bortland sat there trying to come off calm and confident, hoping his version of events would sound believable enough to avoid suspicion, but that plan fell apart. Fast officers saw right through it, and he ended up getting caught in a lie.
Here's the hard part what we're having a hard time to understand is that we shut down that entire area, and we had officers shoulder to shoulder walk it out. They didn't find as much as 1 shell casing. They didn't find 1 piece of glass. Nothing. Nothing to what you said adds up. And
it's harder. Well, I'm telling you, bro, that's
I mean, for whatever reason, your 2 friends, are these your good friends?
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
These your 2, I'm assuming close friends.
No.
And you're doing them an inservice by not telling us the truth.
I'm telling you the truth. I don't how. What do you want?
How do you make shell casings disappear?
I don't know. I cannot tell you about the shell case.
That's when the interrogation started to unravel. Bortland's frustration grew as the officers remained skeptical of his account. You could see the pressure mounting. He started sweating and getting visibly agitated, desperate just to get out of that room.
I told y'all to start a story, and that's it. I ain't even talking about it. I told y'all. I don't know. I don't know.
Okay. Just so you know, all right, because you're saying, well, I don't want to talk anymore. There's going to be a lot more questions. There's, and we're not trying to piss you off. The thing is, we don't know your friends.
Yeah.
So the reason we have to ask all these questions, because the more we know about your friends, your lifestyle, your friend's lifestyle, your friends, his friends, and the circumstances surrounding today, the more, the easier it's going to be for us to try and solve this.
Usually, when a suspect shuts down during an interrogation, refusing to talk or engage further, it's up to the officers to reset the situation and try to rebuild trust. Their aim is to keep asking questions, hoping the suspect slips up, changes their story, or accidentally reveals more than intended. The officer might steer the conversation towards specifics, like what happened during the drive-by, whether the suspect crashed, dropped anything, or made any into-moment decisions.
And I'm driving, ducking for my life, trying to make sure I don't get hit. And you telling me, what you telling me about? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. I'm driving. I'm trying to make sure I don't get hit. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna be worried about it.
I know it's not for you to worry about, but if you tell me it happened there, there's got to be some evidence there. There's going to be broken glass, just like there's broken glass over here when you guys open the doors and stuff like that. Okay, there's going to be broken glass over there when the windows got chipped out. There's going to be casings from the people at your car. Okay, there's going to be evidence over there. Okay, right now there's nothing. Kind of think I know what happened because I got information.
As their interrogation time dwindled, the officer directly asked, "If you know who did this, would you tell me?"
By just telling me the truth, even if it's something that I don't want to hear, but I respect the truth rather than BS. Okay, and it's a simple question: if you knew who did this, okay. You may or may not know. If you knew who did this, would you tell me? It's either a yes or no question. Answer.
Honestly.
Yeah, honestly. The truth. You wouldn't?
I wouldn't.
W.W. Bortland didn't give a clear yes or no. In fact, he didn't use his voice at all. Instead, he simply shook his head no. This was crucial because if W.W. Melly had committed the crime, Bortland would obviously know. Saying no without speaking prevented any voice cracks or changes in pitch that could indicate lying. This nonverbal response signaled to investigators that he likely knew more than he was admitting. But it gets even more intense. The judge struck a deal with Melly's ex-girlfriend, Mariah Hamilton, who had been hiding outside the U.S. since before Melly's original trial. She was supposed to testify against him but never appeared and had been wanted by police for years.
Mariah Hamilton is spending her first day at the Broward County Jail. She has no arrest record until now. U.S. Border Patrol agents arrested her at Miami International Airport Monday after she arrived on an international flight. Court records show Hamilton was ordered to testify in Demon's first trial in 2023.
The judge struck a deal with Mariah. If she agreed to testify against Melly, she'd be freed from jail. She accepted immediately, which was devastating news for YNW Melly after her release. Melly posted on Facebook and to my village, "You to my village, I love you all so much. It's God's plan, not mine." The situation turned even scarier when disturbing evidence was found on Mariah's iCloud account, suggesting that W.W. Melly had pressured her not to testify a clear case of witness. That charge alone can carry a life sentence, regardless of whether Melly was involved in the Sackhazer and Juvie cases.
The state filing 6 new charges against Demons and 2 others who were allegedly involved. The charges include tampering with a witness, directing the activities of a criminal, solicitation or conspiracy to commit tampering, and unlawful use of a two-way communication device. Now, a couple of those charges actually carry a life in prison sentence if there's a conviction.
The witness tampering charge would be separate from Melly's existing case involving Sackhazer and Juvie's deaths. especially since Melly already has a mistrial in that original case. There's still a chance Melly could be found not guilty of the Sockhazer and juvie charges, but depending on what's found on Mariah's iCloud, he could face a life sentence for witness tampering alone. Meanwhile, YW Melly's access to jail phones has been cut off for several months. It got so bad that Jamie King spoke out in an interview exposing the county jail for denying Melly phone access.